This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, another significant cost blowout for Christchurch's new multi-use sports stadium. A piece of Gore's building history gets a timely spruce up with a paint job for Sergeant Dan. And a volunteer army of students prepares to descend on South Otago to help out the locals. Kia ora, good evening. I'm Hannah Wilkins. The cost of building Christchurch's multi-use arena has skyrocketed. It's now estimated to cost up to $683 million for the total project. That's a $200 million increase on what was originally budgeted in early 2021. The blowout will delay the project further and could even halt it altogether, with the Christchurch City Council to consider its next moves next week.
It's an ambitious project that just keeps growing. Christchurch's long-awaited multi-use arena is still in the planning stages. But there's now a possibility those plans could again be changed, or even put on hold. Latest figures presented to Christchurch City councillors project the total cost of the covered arena to be at least $673 million. Add to that further possible cost escalations, estimated at $10 million. And the news isn't good for the company charged with delivering the stadium.
It's fair to say we've gone from a price rise to a price shock, and we really need to understand what has happened over this period of time and why we have such an overheated construction market.
The huge blowout was revealed this week after lead contractor B6 Watpac delivered its final design and construct submission. Crucially, the company wasn't willing to provide a fixed price for the massive project because of the volatility in the overheated construction market.
There's a number of factors going on here, as I explained before. Labour shortages, supply disruption, raw material prices.
The report will go to Council next week, with a recommendation the arena project goes back out for public consultation. Christchurch City Council Chief Executive Dawn Baxendale says residents will get to have their say on the three potential options.
That consultation will look at three potential options. Whether we should consider increasing the budget. Secondly, whether we should consider scaling the project back. Many of you will remember that we had a significant petition last year. I think it was 24,000 people who asked us to raise the number of seats in the stadium to 30,000. And finally, whether we should halt the project.
If councillors decide to stump up the extra cash, the opening date for the covered 30,000 seat stadium in central Christchurch could be pushed out to April 2026, and redesigning the stadium to a smaller scale would delay the opening even further. In Christchurch, The South Today.
The Otago Regional Council has announced a new interim chief executive following the surprise resignation of former CEO Sarah Gardner last month. Dr Pim Boren will step into the role as the ORC's interim chief executive. The council says Boren has experience for the role, with around 15 years working as a public sector chief executive. Most recently, he served as the chief economist for the Cook Island government. The Otago Regional Council has had a run of issues in recent years, including tensions between councillors and staff, illegal dumping in the Clutha River, and the resignation of former chairperson Marion Hobbs last year. A well-known historic building in downtown Gore is sporting a new lick of paint. The old Fleming's Cremota Mill, which now houses the business Sergeant Dan Stock Foods, has had a much-needed repainting to bring it back to life.
A glimpse of its past self. The former Fleming's Cremota Mill in downtown Gore hasn't been looking its best in recent years, but now the well-known building has had a shiny new coat of paint. The current owners of Gore's 130-year-old cereal processing plant decided Sergeant Dan needed a spruce up.
Oh, it's well overdue for a coat of paint. We've been in the business 17 years now, and it's a big part of this town, so it needs to look a bit more impressive. So we give it a coat of paint, and it's come up really well.
The scaffolding came down last week after the building had a full clean and repainting. However, the renovation job is far from finished.
There's a bit more to be done around the back, so that and right at the top, so that'll get done next year. So we're going to budget a wee bit of money for the next, basically every year from now on there'll be some R&M done on the building, so by this time next year it'll be fully painted, we think, anyway.
The heritage building was constructed in the late 1800s and has provided hundreds of jobs to the Southland community. Moyles says Gore residents are enjoying the refreshed look.
Feedback's been really good. I mean, people were quite pleased to see it painted. I mean, they obviously knew it looked a bit second-hand before, so everyone's been really positive.
However, Sergeant Dan and the Thistle sign are now waiting for warmer weather before they get their final touch-ups. In Gore, the South Today.
The Dunedin railway station is showing off a new addition to its scrim covering. An image of the station's clock tower has been painted on the scrim, which has been in place since November to cover up scaffolding. The painted scrim on the southern side of the station marks a continuation of the $6.4 million refurbishment, which began last year. The original scrim cost $38,000 to make, print and install. However, the newly painted section was part of the originally purchased material. The covers suffered a bit of wind damage late last year and needed repairing. And while time may appear to be standing still at the railway station, work will continue behind the image until the restoration is completed next year. A group of Otago University students are doing their part to help out the community in Milton. Around 30 community and social work students have lent their hands to help get some local projects off the ground.
Plans to aid the Milton community. These Otago University students are hoping their efforts can set some needed projects in motion. Around 30 community and social work students have teamed up with Project Bruce to revitalise the Tokomairero, Milton, Waihola and Tidy Mouth areas.
And so our goal has just been to help expose what they do to the people of this area to continue to boost the amazing work they're already doing.
The students have been involved in a range of projects aimed at better connecting the community. Project Bruce has a variety of goals, from improving the community garden to running a bacon programme in the Otago Corrections Facility. But with only 2 employees, they need some extra workers.
It's been our role to help support them and boost some of the projects that they just haven't had enough time to get off the ground yet. So they've had a wealth of ideas, and it's been our role to just help get those started. And so now we'll pass it back to them, and perhaps next semester other students will continue on with some of the work we've started.
The students will be wrapping up their work with the semester ending this month.
And everyone's done incredible work to just boost the mahi that's already being done there. And so yeah, it's been a really good experience so far.
The students can walk away knowing they've played a part in helping their communities. In Milton, the South Today.
Whai Akane, still to come on the South Today. Tickets to the All Blacks and Ireland test in Dunedin next month are running out fast. And what to do when your favourite doll or teddy bear needs some TLC.
Hi, my name's Matt and I'm the Dines Group CEO. Dines is a company that's focused on selling logistics solutions to its customers. We're passionate about selling efficiency, and we've been selling efficiency for over 50 years now.
Queen's Birthday Bash, this weekend at My Mate John's. John's celebrating the Queen's birthday with massive discounts across his entire range. All lounge, dining and occasional is reduced by 25%. There's 30% off his entire range of beds and bedroom, and a whopping 50% off clearance items. Absolutely everything reduced in John's massive Queen's Birthday Bash.
Get that furniture from Stafford Street and My Mate John.
Every day the team at Gillian supports grieving families at their time of need, from answering your questions to organising a farewell that reflects the wishes of your loved one. We can help. Call Gillian's today.
Spark your joy with Jazz, the next generation from Honda.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Hi, we're Age Concern Otago.
Age Concern Otago hosts a multitude of social activities, including interwalks.
Living Well Disability Resource Centre, a not-for-profit charitable organisation and your one-stop shop for information and resources to help you retain independence. We offer a wide range of assistive products from jar openers to mobility scooters and provide assessments for Total Mobility, the half-price taxi scheme. Come and see the friendly team. You'll find us on the corner of George and Bath Streets, ground floor of Burns House.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Passion,
drama,
competition,
rivalry, marketing, numbers,
atmosphere,
power, fight,
attack,
intuition,
love,
hate, money,
cash,
millionaires,
fans,
and fans. Oh boy.
Tēnā, welcome back. Next month's eagerly anticipated rugby test between the All Blacks and Ireland in Dunedin is nearly a sellout. Less than 3,000 tickets are left for the clash at Dunedin's Forsyth Bar Stadium on July the 9th. The test is part of a 3-match series, which is being billed as the unofficial World Championship of International Men's Rugby. It'll be the first test between the All Blacks and Ireland in Dunedin in 20 years, with capacity for around 28,000 fans. Dunedin had been set to host 2 rugby tests last year. The city did host a clash against Fiji, but the 100th test between the All Blacks and the Springboks was moved to Australia due to COVID-19 concerns. Investigations have revealed the cause of fire which destroyed a home at an East Otago heritage site on Monday. A single occupant escaped unharmed, but the building itself was completely destroyed in the blaze.
The farmstead which burned down was constructed on the original location of whaler Johnny Jones's homestead, who lived there in the mid-1800s. Fire and Emergency New Zealand investigators spent the last 2 days looking through the remains of the building. One occupant was at the Waikouiti property when the call to emergency services was made and was alerted to the fire by smoke alarms. When crews arrived, they found a well-involved fire at the 2-storey building, and additional pumps and tankers were called in to help contain, control and extinguish the fire. Investigators believe the fire was sparked by an electrical fault in a ground floor bedroom, resulting in a self-sustaining fire which destroyed the house. The farm at Matanaka isn't listed as an historic place, but is believed to be New Zealand's first European-style farm, with the country's oldest surviving farm buildings. Multiple appliances from Dunedin and North Otago attended the incident. In Waikouiti, the South Today.
For many people, their favourite childhood doll or teddy bear is more than just a toy. It often represents treasured memories of times full of innocence and youth. But what happens when these lovable toys wear out?
Next patient, please. The front room of Joyce Riley's small home in Apawa doubles as a surgery of sorts. Every day, busted, broken, or simply worn out dolls, teddy bears and soft toys show up at the Doll City Hospital in Christchurch in need of some love, care and attention. For more than 50 years, the much-loved toys have come to the Doll Hospital here. Riley took over 20 years ago and enjoys working on all the toys, especially her favourite, the old walkie-talkie dolls of the 50s and 60s, as each is more than just an action figure.
I prefer to go to the one I enjoy the most, and that's the walkie-talkie. I've seen hundreds of them, and they're all the same, but they're different. They have different problems: the eyes, hair, legs, plastic splits, you name it, they've got it. But they're one of the most enjoyable dolls to work with. They always come up smiling.
And just like on the many TV restoration programs out there, the tears do flow when the doll or bear is returned, fixed up and ready for the next generation of cuddles.
The lady the other day, she got her bear back and she struggled to stop the tears.
And for all the toys and dolls, it represents a period in their owners' lives which they had somebody to relate to, talk with, or simply listen to them. In Christchurch, the South Today.
Whai Yakane. After the break on the South Today, the country's longest running Harriers race continues on course in Gore, and playoffs are just days away for the Highlanders, and the team are aiming to stay positive.
Drop when you every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Queen's Birthday Bash, this weekend at My Mate John's. John's celebrating the Queen's birthday with massive discounts across his entire range. Absolutely everything reduced.
My Mate John.
Come on, mate. The blue doesn't go with the brown.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Tēnā, welcome back. The longest running Harrier event in Southland has once again kicked up dust into its competitors' faces. The Gore Harriers Running Club has been holding its annual Handicap Harriers race for more than 60 years, with no sign of hanging up their running shoes just yet.
Competitive runners are used to clocking up milestones, competing against themselves and others to run faster times. However, the Gore Harrier Club's cross-country handicap race has run a record of more than 6 decades, chalking up a recent milestone.
So today is the 67th running of the Gore Handicap Cross Country. So it's the longest running Harrier event in Southland, and as I said, started 67 years ago.
Event organiser Graham Hall says about 40 runners from around Southland took part in this year's event. They ran what's known in Harrier circles as an open course, where the runners can see who's ahead of them and also who's coming up from behind.
So there's that incentive to run a bit quicker.
The athletes ran a 5-kilometre course around Hamilton Park, and being a handicap race, slower runners get to start first, with faster runners last on the course.
From the first off-go person to the last person was a 14-minute difference, but over nearly 3 laps of the course you can start to see the field bunch up, and it gets to be some really good racing, particularly coming down the finish straight. Lots of runners almost sprinting after that 5 kilometres to get line on us.
A selection of cups and trophies will be going to the winners across several categories, with the club already making preparations to hold the 68th Harriers event next year. In Gore, the South Today.
Highlanders flanker is staying positive ahead of the side's quarter-final clash against the Blues this weekend. The Blues are coming off a 13-match winning streak to finish their regular season, but Harmon says everything resets now the Highlanders are in the playoffs.
But, you know, it's quarter-finals. What's happened in the past doesn't have any effect on, you know, this game. Points don't matter, you know, competition points. It's just all about who performs on that day. You know, we stay tight, we just worry about us. You know, Landers have no problem with being an underdog, so, you know, if that's how it is, then, you know, we just focus on us and try and bring a performance. I think just for us, we just need to believe in ourselves. You know, not get too caught up in how good they're going, the quarter-final pressure, and just yeah, believe in ourselves really.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. More cost blowout for Christchurch's new multi-use sports stadium as another $150 million is added to the price tag. A piece of Gore's building history gets a timely spruce up with a paint job for Sergeant Dan and the former Fleming's Cremota Mill site. And a volunteer army of students prepares to descend on South Otago to help out the locals with a series of Milton projects on their list. And now a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT, and we welcome the Deputy Editor, Craig Page. Kia ora, Craig.
Good evening. Yeah, this morning we carried a story about the DCC having a bit of a crack at the government not providing enough direction and support for areas like South Dunedin in respect of climate change. Now that's hit a bit of a raw nerve with South Dunedin MP Ingrid Leary.
Right.
She's come out swinging today saying she's repeatedly spoken to the DCC about coming up with a partnership proposal involving the government, but has heard nothing back from them as yet. It's kind of interesting. She sees Dunedin as an ideal partnership pilot program which could be used around the country. If they got together, came up with a plan, then it is something that could be used in other parts.
Other places,
so, yeah,
right.
so she's been pushing for that, so we'll no doubt we'll see what the council's response is, and we'll play ping pong back and forward over that one. Everyone loves a cat story. You got yes. So we've got one out of Queenstown tomorrow about a cat called Ruby, who's got a bit of a fondness for catching public transport. apparently lives out at Fernhill, but quite regularly jumps on the bus through to the central their central business district there. So got found the other day by somebody who had to put him up on Facebook and to find his owner, and did within a short time. But yes, they think it's quite a regular thing going on there. So
quite the habit.
Yeah, it seems to be. Outs pages, we catch up with Naseby artist Jenny Chisholm. She's fell in love with that small village about 20 years ago. They went for a drive, found a section, bought a holiday home, and she's been there ever since. So she's making a bit of a name for herself as an artist too. So yeah, it's a lovely story.
Lovely.
And this year marks 25 years since elite netball took off in New Zealand. Of course, we all remember the Otago Rebels back in the day.
Yes.
You mightn't, you're probably a bit
young.
But
I do. I also remember the Sting, because I was living in Southland at the time, admittedly.
Well, there you go. So Jeff Cheshire, our netball writers, look back on those 25 years and come up with, I guess, the best of team. Some of those great players. You think of Leslie Nichol, Leslie Rumble, and Bernie Smenny, Adine Wilson, Harper as well. So yeah, here's a look back on the success. Yeah, they were. So that's well worth a read as well.
Fantastic. I look forward to reading that, Craig. Thank you for sharing this evening. And now for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Looking at the situation, it's about to get much colder for a couple of days as southwesterly airflow spreads over the region late tomorrow, bringing widespread showers and some snow on the ranges. Heading to the top of the South Island first. Morning showers in Nelson tomorrow, then a cloudy day with 15 degrees. More rain, thunderstorms and hail for Greymouth with a high of 14. And it'll be partly cloudy and windy in Christchurch with 17 degrees. To our southern towns now. The Catlins, Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore will all get 14 degrees tomorrow with southwesterlies and some rain. Travelling westwards to the Central Lakes area, the rain and freshening southwesterlies continue through here for Alexandra, Wanaka and Queenstown, reaching a 14-degree high. Much the same over in Te Anau too, with a touch cooler, a high of 13. To the northern towns next. Timaru is in for another warm day on the east coast with westerlies and 18 degrees. Down to Uamaru, expect some late showers, but first a high of 17. And over to Twizel and Omorima, 15 degrees tomorrow with showers and southwesterlies. Down to Dunedin, fine and high cloud tonight, dropping to 10. Tomorrow brings more thick high cloud and nor'westerlies before an afternoon change ramps up the fresh cold southwesterlies and rain. The high will be 15 with an overnight low of 7 degrees. Then Friday brings some wintry showers, some hail and gusty southwest winds up to 9 and then right down to 4 degrees. And now to the deep south. Invercargill will be fine tonight, dropping down to 11 degrees. Tomorrow starts off dry, but rain is on the way in the afternoon as the southwesterlies settle in. Expect a high of 13 and then down to 4. And then for Friday, more showers and hail to go with the cold southwesterlies. Expect a high of 8 before dropping down to 4 degrees as the low. And that's the news this Wednesday. For the latest news and videos from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz. And you can follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch our news bulletins on demand. Nō reira, kia pai te po, ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.